in Republican strategist Brian Darling, founder and president of Liberty Government Affairs, and Democratic strategist Bishop Garrison, interim executive director of the Truman Project. Hi, guys. Good to see you on a Sunday morning.
Good to see you.
So, Bishop, you first. What do you make of the fact that Joe Biden is leading in Iowa? He is not even announced yet.
Good morning, Alex. I think it's fantastic for the potential Biden campaign, but let's be honest here. We're talking about a poll that was only of about 401 potential Democratic voters in March of 2019. The Iowa caucuses aren't until February 3rd of next year. There's a lot of time right now between now and then to see some changes. And again, we're talking only 400 voters. Iowa has a great breadth and depth of individuals that are really excited about the Democratic Party, but it is not as diverse as we would like to see in these types of times right now. So I think we don't want to put too much stock into this early, but it is a good indication for the vice president.
Are you thinking basically it's a thing of name identity recognition? Is that what it is, Bishop?
I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, you have the two that led the way were Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. Everyone knows who they are. They've had a very long lead time to get to know voters. I think you're going to see a lot more opportunity for the Kamala Harris's, for the Elizabeth Warrens, for the Secretary Castros of the world to come forth and really show the American people generally what they're all about.
Brian, to you now, there's a new article in the New York Times. It is titled, Bernie Sanders-style politics are defining 2020 race, unnerving moderates. So what this refers to are moderate Democrats who are increasingly fearing that the party could fritter away its chances of beating President Trump in 2020 by careening over a liberal cliff. Do you think that's what Republicans are counting on? I mean, is it possible that Republicans are underestimating the popular appeal of more liberal Democrats in 2020?
You know, I do think that's a potential. I think that Donald Trump's greatest ally right now are the fact that Democrats are being very reactionary and they've gone overboard on so many issues. You look at Elizabeth Warren pushing to go after the biggest and most successful companies in our nation for no good reason, just to break them up, just to be populist. Her push for higher taxes, the push for Medicare for all, the Green New Deal. I don't know if there are any moderates left in the Democratic Party leadership, because all I hear are these ideas that are pushing the party to the left. And I think one of the things that is interesting is you do see Joe Biden leading in these polls. He's not even a declared candidate. So I think some of these issues may be hurting. I think that some of the candidates have gone a little bit too far, and it seems like Democrats have a long way to go before they settle on a couple of candidates that they want to see get to the finish line.
But, Brian, are you at all concerned that Republicans may underestimate where this is? Let's keep in mind, this is 2020. We're not looking back. Things seem to be looking forward within the Democratic Party.
Well, I don't think so. I think that Democrats are overplaying their hand. Look at what happened in the House with 81 requests for documents, and we're going to see subpoenas at some point. So Democrats may be overplaying their hand, trying to push an early impeachment, pushing some ideas that aren't in the mainstream. I don't think the American people really are in agreement with all of these ideas that are going to cost our country so much money that we can't afford.
Listen, I got to say, of those surveyed, I just want to say, yes, you make a point that it's, 400 and change in terms of those that were surveyed, but 90% of them supported the Green New Deal, 84% backing Medicare for all, 81% in favor of a candidate who would tax individuals with more than $5 million in wealth. So
that's true. But I bet you also, if you poll breaking up Amazon and Facebook, I think that poll's probably pretty high too. But the problem is, when you look at the long-term results, it's destructive. I think the American people think the Green New Deal is a good idea right up until they see that how much it's going to cost them, because it isn't free. Socialism is not free. We pay for it in the back end.
But Brian, I mean, we have to even look at what the actual policies and the processes of something like the Green New Deal are going to be. We haven't had that discussion yet. What the American people are hungry for is change. They want someone to actually bring up climate change as an issue that the country addresses. That's the bigger piece here I think we need to take away.
Yeah, climate change is huge. As a matter of fact, it got the second highest rating there. 81% that were surveyed said they were interested in health care, most of all, 80% in climate change. What does that say to you, Bishop?
Well, I think that the right are trying to peg a lot of these ideas as being socialist or being so dramatic that the American people aren't going to want anything to do with it. But continuously, we're seeing them poll very high. We're seeing that Americans do want us to do something about health care. They want to find a path to Medicare for all. They want to find a path to renewable energies, to clean energies. They're fighting to find these types of answers. They're very interested. To simply say that it's going to cost too much doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but both of you guys, I'm very curious, have used the word socialist. And there's a negative connotation to that permeates the vast portion of society. How is that word going to maybe be weaponized, do you think? I want you both to respond to that. And Brian, you can go first. Is that something that has been thought about by Republicans, thinking, all right, you know what, this is how we're going to label and push socialism as being the moniker representing the full Democratic Party?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think rightfully so. I think it should be weaponized against Democrats because they're embracing it. The Democrat socialist agenda is the agenda right now that's being front and center and being pushed by the left. And that's a problem. I don't think that's going to be popular in the long term.
What do you think there, Bishop? I mean, is it something that, do you think, like the New York Times article when it said that Democrats may be careening over a cliff by going too liberal, i.e. moving in a socialist direction, is that going to be a problem?
I don't think this is going to be a problem at all. Look, we just took the House back in this last election, and we did so with the help of a lot of centralist Democrats in red districts. Like, we wouldn't have been able to make the moves and take the gavel back the way we did if we didn't have individuals that were looking for smart policies that affect all Americans, that are central to what Americans really care about. I think trying to peg a lot of this, or trying to use the connotation that we're somehow socialist because we believe in some of these stronger policies that affect all people, is just, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Do you take, Bishop, anything, as I'm looking at the poll numbers, breaking it down in terms of detail, top two people in the poll, Joe Biden, he gets a 70% as being about right for where he stands in terms of views, whether they're too liberal, about right, or conservative. Bernie Sanders gets a 48% in terms of his views being about right, and he is to the left of Joe Biden. So does it concern you?
Yeah, it doesn't concern me. When I look at it, we look at the vice president. He's had a tremendous track record over the entirety of the Obama administration for leading with his heart, for doing everything he could to be supportive of President Obama, and very strong policies, again, that support and affect all Americans. I think Senator Sanders has a lot of room to make up there in terms of what he actually stands for and some of the different policies he's trying to push, and additionally what his outreach looks like to people of color and to women. What is it that he's actually going to do for these communities that are going to ultimately support them and help to continue to lift them up and ensure that they have prosperity as well?
Can I ask you, Bishop, look quickly at a headline from The Hill which says Warren struggles to gain traction amid Sanders' surge. Is there room for Elizabeth Warren to recover, or is Sanders going to crowd her out?
Oh, I think she's a tremendous talent. I actually do think there's room for her to improve and really resonate with the American people. It's a question of how they're going to go about that with their strategy, and I'm really excited to see what her team does.
What about this
She resonates with me. I would love to see her to get the nomination.
I bet she resonates with you, Brian.
Quickly comment, Brian, on Politico's article titled "Advisors Urge Trump to Defer 2020 Rallies," saying that Trump's Republican allies and campaign officials believe an early re-election strategy built around his role as chief executive in dignified settings, and it goes on to say will carry more weight. What are your thoughts on that? Real quickly, you got about 10 seconds to answer that one.
I don't think he's going to listen to his advisors. I guarantee we're going to see him out in the campaign trail more, probably because they're telling him not to do it.
He does seem to have a lot of fun on the campaign trail, that's for sure. All right, good to see you both, Bishop and Brian. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you. Sounds great.
A conservative watchdog group files a complaint.